Hey guys, so this is day 5 of trading the funded account, and we made a nice little 1% today. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the exact trade I took, as I said, showing each step of this funded series, and yeah, bringing as much value as possible, and hope you can learn something during these videos that I'm creating for you. So yeah, in this video, we took a German 40 trade. Let's get into it. Let me explain exactly why I managed it early, why it's good to identify these red flags early as well, and how you can maybe learn from it as too. So let's get into the video. So the first things first that we wanted to identify was, say, within our trades, we want to identify flows. And clearly at the moment, it's very mixed, right? As we can see, price is very mixed at the moment on the hour. We're bouncing up and down on German 40. It's almost like holding these lows here on the higher time frame. So we do expect a surge to the top side, especially with this price action that is just broke this recent high of previous day, right, which is about this level here, the Friday, the 12th of September, right? It broke these highs and started to continue up. We're getting that almost that structure of pushing up, coming down, you know, that ladder formation, you know, that stair formation, which is really, really good. So essentially, the first thing that we want to identify was the flows, and we can see it's kind of mixed at the moment, but we want to see exactly what happens first. So, you know, always going to the 15-minute and seeing what breaks out first. And if we go, look, we're about to break out of the 15-minute time frame. Okay, so we got and pushed up to previous day high, and we wanted to see exactly where price was going to surge. So the first price point that we were looking at was this level over here. Now, we didn't enter straight away simply because of price being a bit hesitant, especially as I said, you know, we've been up and playing in this area for quite some time. We just broke above previous day high and we almost liquidated it, as you guys can see there. So the next thing that we want to see is, okay, how's price going to react within this level? 15-minute EMAs also drag quite low, so we obviously have to drop down to a lower time frame to see where the EMA starts the line. EMA is sitting within our demand area as well as just above our overnight high. Okay, so we want to see how price is reacting. So we didn't enter off the first one, we didn't enter off the second one, we entered off the third touch. Okay, so that would be over here. If we just run a little bit back there, sorry, we ran a bit early, but we entered off that second tap on that 3-minute there. It was a very, very short trade. It was very much a difficult trade idea, simply because, you know, price was kind of stalling out and bouncing off previous day high area the whole time. So the way that we got positioned, obviously we were on the 3-minute watching that 1-minute switch over. We entered our trade as a V2 model, in a sense of price breaking above, retesting, and then wanting that continuation. We entered with our stop loss just below this previous low here, and then wanting price to run up. We got a beautiful surge straight to the top, but we cut our trade a bit early actually, because we saw that there was still that struggle. So we hit a 1% trade. It would have been a 2.5. But when price surged up this quickly, I thought it was going to push up and then, you know, pull back quite early. So I cut a bit of size of the trade too quickly, so I managed it a bit early, but we still managed to hit that 1%, when actually what the beautiful thing would have been if we held the trade a little bit longer. Yes, we got close to drawdown, but eventually actually hitting that 2R point if we start to see, if we go back to that 3-minute there, if we see the surge of price running higher. So as you can see, price was playing off this EMA the whole time. If we held it a little bit longer, we could have probably surged up until that point, hitting a 2R would have been 40 grand for the day. But I mean, if you guys can see, this price action was absolutely terrible, bouncing up and down within the whole time. So obviously this is a screenshot, I'll leave it on the screen, of the trade that we took today, and the account balance we're currently sitting on 2,081,000 Rand. So that is 4% gainer, which is pretty good. Overall, pretty decent. I'm very happy with that. 4% so far. We're only day 5 of the series. If we didn't take that first big loss, I think we could have been a little bit further. But again, I mean, that's what happens in trading. It's not always going to go your way. So yeah, hit 1%. We could have held it a little bit longer, but I mean, in terms of my psychological levels, after seeing price pull back one more time at this point, I would have thought, you know, I probably would have cut the trade anyways, because it was struggling to break those highs and struggling to rotate higher there. Instead, actually pulled back down to that level. I probably would have took in a BE or just closed out my trade entirely. But let's see how price continued to play. You can see it actually ran up quite nicely too. So from our entry level, if we held a little bit longer, we could have even left it at a 3.5R. But again, as I was saying, this price action was a red flag to me, because after we're seeing how it is opening and moving, that was the 10 o'clock candle pushing down, rotating quite heavily, having that very, very much bearish pressure, and then, you know, starting to surge up. Okay, obviously that this R candle is pushing bearish here because that's what it did, but it surged up quite drastically, but then started to pull back down on the 5. As you can see here, as we start to replay the whole thing, we would have been tagged out there anyways. So very tricky trade. It was definitely a B grade idea, or B plus idea, which is not a bad idea. I think I could have held a little bit longer, maybe put stops at break even in terms of management, maybe put my stops there, let the trade room to breathe. But originally my stops were quite tight already. So yeah, the idea behind it was wanting to get in, wanting to see the surge maybe to 2R and then cut the trade. But then we continued to stall out and play around this previous day high level the whole time. So that was me. Again, 1% for the day, up 4%. On the trading account. Very, very happy, can't complain at all. Yeah, until the next one. So again, this is day 5. Going to keep on showing you the trades that I'm taking and breaking it down for you. We will pass this account and we will get a payout, I'll guarantee you that. So yeah, as you can see, raw, open and honest, transparent as it can be. Hope you guys learned something in this video, just in terms of something that you can keep an eye out for, is whenever you're getting to a previous day high, watch how price is reacting off that high. If we can see that there's a lot of rejection candles like this, it 10 to 1 can be a red flag. If you have the balls to hold through these, these levels, of course, in this funded challenge, I didn't want to take a 1% loss. I think we've been bouncing up between 1 to 3% the whole time. I just wanted to break out of that to get that 4%. So at least we have a bit of room to play with now as well. But if you did hold, you would have been profiting quite nicely there. So overall, really good idea. B plus, would take it any day, as long as my equity curve is above original balance. So yeah, hope you guys learned something. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Peace out.